Welcome to the F Word, where we answer your financial questions. This one, PJ, I'm going to give over to you. The client asked, or the question was, I've just invested my pension fund that I've gathered all throughout all these years of working. What is my biggest risk that I should be aware of when investing my life savings, basically?
Yeah, I think that's a difficult one, because in the industry, when we talk about this is a high risk investment, and we do the graph here, low risk investment is money in the bank, and high risk investment is shares. But that's not the real definition for me, because a high risk investment we see as a share that's very volatile. The price movements go up and down a lot. So then we say it's a high risk investment, high risk, higher potential return that you have to take. I think the biggest risk for any investment is the potential to lose money. I think if you, especially in your pension fund, if you've got R1 million, I don't bother if it's going like this. You don't want it to go flatline, because you can never recover from that. So what's the biggest risk is that I lose all of my money, because then shares is not that risky. It might go up and down and go 30% if you're diversified in a lot of shares. Again, not invest everything in one share like Steinhoff we've seen in history can happen. But if you've invested in 20 shares, a Steinhoff can happen, but I still have 95% of my money left. So I think the biggest risk is actually investing in something, and we see with Ponzi schemes that people say, oh, I love that high guaranteed returns. But people don't realize the biggest risk is that the money that you put in, you won't be able to get out.
But you mentioned in our industry, and I must say, our industry, when we talk about aggressive investments or risky investments, that's shares. That's not really risky when you compare it to schemes and all of these other things that people should be aware of. So I think if you invested in regulated funds with an actual advisor, it's not that risky at all. Even if but diversify your shares, definitely diversify to minimize the risk. But even then, if it goes down, we've seen throughout history, it will go up again. There's fluctuation, but the chances there of losing your money when you diversify in a regulated unit trust, the chances are very slim that you, over the long term, will lose money.
Yeah, but that's why time frame is that important, because if you invest only for 3 months and then you invest in the stock market and it falls by 20%, then you need to take the money out, then you lost the money. But if it's long term, you don't lose the money.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Something that I get bombarded with a lot, and even with very clued up, smart people, when they hear high risk, they think 100% or nothing. Like, I may lose all my money here. And that's not what we do at all, is diversify the portfolio. And within that portfolio, as you rightfully said, one share within that portfolio may fail, but it will have a 1% or 2% holding in that share. So it doesn't mean that the person will lose all their money at all. That's why we diversify clients' portfolios.
But most clients say that I'm a high risk investor. I'm willing to do that until they lose money. Then no one likes that.
Till the market.
You only lose money when you disinvest, when it's down. So, by the way.
Yeah, no, exactly. Thank you very much, gents. In our industry, like you say, it's actually boring long-term investing. It's not you will lose all or win all. Just make sure it's regulated. Make sure it's for the long term.
It's not a casino.
You don't take risk at all. Thank you once again. If you have any questions regarding anything finance, drop it down below.